Hello everyone, thank you for checking out our listing. My name is Mackenzie and I've got our 2020 AMG GT R to show you today. This is a beautiful Roadster model. Some options to note: carbon fiber Sport Pack 2. Gives us some extra bling around this thing. We're going to show you the forged wheels, the ceramic brakes, and we got a V8 twin turbo under the hood. Turbos in the valley, which I can't wait to show you here in a second. But to start, just want to give you a tour around and show you the condition of this car. Touch on things like the front end, which is wrapped in clear bra. Having a fun night around here in Pontiac, Michigan. Show you this thing has been parked on a parking curb. I know when we had this up in the air earlier, I was pretty blown away with the carbon fiber underneath. Well, it's got plenty of it up top as well. Hit the side of this car. This matte black finish is incredible. There's our wheels finished in a satin black, and then we've got our big 6-piston Brembo calipers with a ceramic rotor. Killer combination of colors, and then a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. It's a great choice right from the factory. Down the side of this is a very, very fun piece. Looks rather aerodynamic. We got the carbon mirror caps. Our windshield, while we're here, I'll touch on, is free of any stone chips, cracks, anything of that nature. And the wiper blades are like new. Everything you'd expect for a 2,000 mile car. Just want to show there are no surprises. Out back, we have a 325/30 on a 20-inch rim. This is a staggered set. Up front, we have a 19-inch. And then out back, they give us the 20. Yes, there's plenty of meat, Now, something very slick. The first time you look at this car, you're gonna notice the carbon spoiler, the GTR badging, the AMG badge. But I didn't notice this right out the gate. If you get down here a little bit low with me, you think we have one exhaust tip there in the center, which is gorgeous, great on styling. There's actually two other that squeak out of either side of this rear diffuser, and that is a titanium muffler. Very trick stuff. So both keys with the car. This is a keyless entry vehicle. We've got our kit that came with the Expel products, and we have everything that came new with this car. Some AMG goodies here. Looks like owner's manual, some spare batteries for our fob. We've got a little cup here that is actually supposed to function as an ashtray. Convert your cup holder into one of those. This is the battery tender that came with the car. This is a first aid kit. And up inside of here, we've got a front license plate bracket. And this is the cover. Very clean inside of here. So you got a couple speakers on either side. No wear anywhere. I don't think anyone's jammed a set of clubs in here just yet. And as you look around the rest of this car, there's no flaws to note. It's been very well cared for. No rash on any of the wheels. Plenty of tread on the tire. This thing had been babied, and it's short life in just a couple thousand miles. We'll open up our Roadster here, and we're greeted with all sorts of lavish finishes. The carbon fiber sill plates jumping out right at me first. No wear to speak of on the door cards. A nice speaker integrated in here. More carbon trim. This is very slick. And then what I think Mercedes has kind of been known for as of lately is all this beautiful diamond stitching everywhere. No wear in these bolsters. We've got a gorgeous, gorgeous steering wheel with the flat bottom. We'll light this up in a moment, but there's some dials here to click through your track modes, play with your radio, change your gauges, see how much boost you're making. It's a very fun car to play with. It's quite comfortable and makes all the right noises. And something cool, you can throw it in drive, but you can also shift through your gearbox with some paddle shifters, one on either side. And perhaps my favorite piece of this, just trying to appreciate some design, is this beautiful stack out for our AC and heater vents there. Just a gorgeous piece of carbon. I think it's really cool we can build cars like this today. Cup holders, 12-volt socket, USB port. Down on here, we'll show you in just a moment, this is like the touchpad on your laptop. So you can scroll through the menus, play with all sorts of things on your screen here. Quite fun. Then we have some sport modes and some other things we can adjust with these buttons right here. All right, now when you're inside of the cockpit here and you got this thing fired up, one of my favorite dials this far is right here on this wheel. You click through this, you've got sport, sport sharp, race, and then for some of your conditions, slippery, comfort, and then I think you can make your own individual setting with a mixture of things. You notice when we click from sport back down to race, the exhaust changes pretty dramatically, and you also have another way to amp up your exhaust system right here with this button. You got an icon of 2 exhaust tips. It's kind of funny, these don't even match this car, but quiets it right down. And they call that balanced or powerful, which is pretty fun. Over here we have traction control button, which is also featured on our steering wheel over on this side. We have our suspension settings. It's in Sport Plus currently. You can put it in Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, or Sport Sharp. So this adjusts the ride height up front. If you're coming up into a steep drive, you have a front lift feature on here, which is cool. Come up one more and we have 2 little gear icons. This is actually what takes it out of drive and puts you into the manual position to use your paddle shifters there. These are cool buttons at that. And then this is another way to adjust our modes. And you notice these all display and change on either screen depending on where your eyes are. This one's kind of fun. It tells you a little bit more as you go through them. It's in basic suspension, a moderate engine power, balanced exhaust, and it kind of fine tunes each setting depending on what mode you're in, and you can see it all live and hear it, which is cool. This car as well has heated and cooled seats. Rather fun, and it's available for both passengers. They got hazards in the middle. We've got a backup camera and a forward camera. Very cool, and you can check your entire surroundings from what I can tell. Pretty slick. Regular AC and heater controls there. So the mouse pad is just like swiping on your phone or your laptop, as I mentioned, and you can just go over icon to icon. You find one you like, you click in on it, and here's your navigation now. Go through all your settings and back if you need. Take it home. The modern car today with this magnetic ride, or however they do it to tune the suspension on the fly, is crazy. Very smooth, very comfortable. I think I got room to move the seat back a couple inches. If you're wondering if you'd fit in this car, I'm about 5'11", and I'm not snug in here at all. I actually can go so far where I can't touch the pedals. I'm very interested to hear it in the sportiest of modes. Put it in there. Mercedes always gets it right on the exhaust. One, the build quality of this car is off the charts. Very tight, high quality finishes all over the place, but that exhaust is just rich, it's deep. A lot of the turbo cars with turbos in the valley, I feel, are much more high pitched, a little bit too raspy. This thing does it right. No complaints. The transmission is super tight, very crisp. It cracks off every shift wonderfully. That was in the most aggressive mode. We will tone it down a few clicks and we'll put it in comfort and see what it does. That's still pretty woken up. You guys are here to check out the car and potentially own this thing. I do want to say my first impressions of just looking at this before the drive, I really was impressed of the build quality, the finishes, how we can build a car that looks this cool at this type of price point. I think is pretty magnificent. I think this is just one of like 750. So probably good collector potential. And not too bad on the environment. We got the start-stop feature here today. This is very fun. It's got a little gauge in here I haven't noticed yet for horsepower and foot-pounds of torque. I got to imagine the torque's way up there. I think in that position it just made almost 600 horsepower. We just got back from our quick lap around the block. So you hear the cooling fan still running. This is our V8. Obviously there's a whole bunch of pretty plastic to look at, but we have our twin turblers right down there in the valley, which I think is really cool. And a bunch of heat shielding, a lot of slick parts and components. This car is very Batman-esque. We got a big long hood, this flat black paint everywhere is cool as hell. We have our dual inlets, those are both of our air boxes on either side. And this plaque right in the center shows that this engine was handcrafted by that gentleman or gal right there. One of the coolest AMGs. Before we go, if you have any questions, hit us in the comments. Feel free to call us too if you'd like to send your inspector or make any arrangements. Our number is 248-714-2110. We're at the M1 Concourse in Pontiac, Michigan. Happy bidding. We'll see you guys.